What's up? Let's do it. Pull up the chat real quick. Hope y'all doing good this morning. Let me pull up the chat. Y'all guys get ready. I'm about to give you guys some real science behind some actionable steps you can take. I'm about to give you guys. Let's do it. Chat is up. Okay. Make sure I can see it when I'm recording the chat. I can work with that. Let's do it. All right. Let's see. What's our first topic for the day? The war on attention. Make sure we can see it. The war on attention. The war on attention. So, as you guys know, man, you can see the books. I read plenty of books on neuroscience, neurological studies, and things of that nature. So, some of the things I might not remember the book that I got it out of, but it's in my mind, it's in my head now. So, one of the things that's concerning that I want to talk about was that they say that the average person now picks up their phone or check their phone 150 times a day. And on average, we can't go like 6 or 7 minutes without checking our phones. Which, when you think of something like that, that's why this topic that I have right now, the war on attention, is so crucial to our success and our goals and what we want out of life, our projects, right? Because it's all about how you frame it. And we have to be conscious. And this is the main thing my channel is about, is bringing you guys up to speed and making you guys conscious of your own mind, right? And then knowing when some things feel like it's out of your hand, you can have that power and that control back because now you're conscious about how your mind actually works. And we'll go deeper into that as this live, goes on and whatnot. But let's just get right into it. The war on attention. So like I said, 150 times that we check our phones a day, and then we can't go 6 or 7 minutes. 6 or 7 minutes. It's funny. I think the book is coming to me now. I think I got this concept out of the book, The Distracted Mind. We can't go 6 or 7 minutes without checking phone. And so we think about it in that fashion. Let's say, because, and this is another thing I'm gonna eventually teach y'all with time, and that's really gonna be what I show you guys over in my free community, Philosopher Paradise. Is you can look me up on school. You will see me. I'll pop up, and I'll make sure I drop a link. Anyways, over there, you know what? Let me do that right now for you guys, actually. So just in case anybody pop in, you already have it. You don't have to worry about it, because that's the whole point. I want to make it, as seamless as possible for you guys to join and sign up. I don't want y'all going through the headaches of, boom, I just sent it. Boom. From me to you. From me to you. There you go. Anyways, where else I get in that? Oh. So, yes, that's concerning. So, this is the thing. A lot of the tasks that you guys want, the inputs, and that's what it's all about, is the inputs, man. Sometimes you got to let the outputs be what it is. And that's why my channel is called Healthy Philosopher. If y'all didn't know, I also study philosophy, right? And that's one of the philosophical viewpoints and concepts, what they like to call stoicism, right? And stoicism isn't just about being cold with your emotional state and things of that nature, but it's also about only being concerned. That's why my last live, like I said, that last live, I told y'all on purpose I was just gonna keep it surface, so we can have kind of like a technical term, detox. I didn't want to get too technical and scientific on that live, but now I can start pulling in more philosophical concepts, and I can start giving more scientific reasonings. Anyways, Stoicism, one of the main concepts was only be concerned about the controllables and not the uncontrollables, right? And y'all remember that last lie. So when we thinking about the war on attention and that we check our phones every 6 to 7 minutes, if we're trying to complete a task that takes, let's say, really it takes 30 minutes, we can extend that task easily. And I know you guys have done this before. You guys have completed a task, but realistically, you like, wait a minute, why did it take me 3 hours to complete a 30-minute task? You know why? It's this right here. Believe it or not, you checking your phone every 6 to 7 minutes. That's a real thing, because I read this something like when was this? And I read this. I read this probably back when I was in high school. Yeah, I've been nerding out since high school. I think it was something where they said that uh on average, when our focus, when it's a blocking hour focus and we have to refocus, sometimes on average I think it takes 10 to 15 minutes to refocus. So if you do the math for that and you keep checking your phone 6 to 7 minutes at a time, you will be surprised why it takes you 3 hours, 6 hours to complete a 30-minute task. And we all been there before. I'm not trying to say I'm Mr. Perfect, but after studying, it made me more conscious. And that's what I want you guys to be, more conscious about your mind. So um, that's why when I keep telling you guys about the inputs, that's all I care for you guys to really do, is the inputs, the actionable steps. Because another side of the concept of stoicism is that you can't really control the outputs. You can control your inputs though, like the decisions that you make and what you implement, what you apply. You can control those things because that's something that you do. And also, I want to touch on that while we're talking about the war on attention, is that we have to even understand like what is attention in a neuroscience neurological sense. Attention works like this. It's a whole different function, and one of those functions is called they call it the DAN. It's abbreviated DAN, and what the DAN is pretty much, it's a dorsal attention network. Stay with me. I know y'all like, what are you talking about? But just stay with me. So essentially, the way we process attention, I'm about to keep it plain and simple. The way we process like any type of new form of information is that we have to be attentive of it first. We have to be attentive, and then what we do as humans naturally is we try to predict. We try to predict outcomes. And y'all be like, what do you mean by that? For example, it'd be the most simple things in every day-to-day life, like opening a door to a store. Before we even open that door, it's funny, we actually try to predict how heavy the door may be, how light it may be. That's why sometimes, if you notice, you will pull open a door and you would get stuck in the door because your mind try to predict that the door was lighter than what it was. So now so just remember, so now your attention, then you trying to predict it, and then the human mind tries to correct it. And then when you sleep on it, you have your hippocampus, which binds like certain like memory sensories, and I can get more specific on that, but let me just lay this down so you can stay with me. And it binds it, so when you sleep, and it starts internalizing that memory, and it stores it into the cortex, right? So anyways, the war on attention. So when okay, I'm not trying to have a brain fart, guys. Like I said, I don't script none of these lies, guys. What I do, I might jot down three main topics that I want to hit on, and I just go. But what was I getting at? Yeah, about the inputs, and now we're talking about attention, right? So attention is a whole separate like function in itself. So what we have, and this is why it's this concept that I read out of this book, and it says it's a difference between being distracted and it's a difference between being interrupted. So let's write that down so y'all can stay with me. So you got being distracted And guys, I love this. I love helping you guys out and really giving you guys value. So, like, this isn't so y'all watching this. Like, I know y'all like, dang man, he up in the morning teaching this stuff, cause I love this man. I love helping y'all. Like I said, I'm the guy. You're the hero, and society, traps. They're the villains in this story, right? And like I said, the reason why I look at myself as a guide and not the hero is that I'm not coming to like save you guys and you guys are hopeless and then I'm the one that slaps the villain and slap the bad guy. No, I'm the guide. I'm just there to unfreeze you and say, hey man, just slap the villain. See what I mean? See, that's why you guys are the hero in this story. So distracted versus interruption. Interruption. So I read about this concept in a book, right? And this is actually from a neuroscience. So this isn't like a like pseudoscience or anything like that. So what they classified as a distraction is something that takes you off of that task completely. And I'm about to wrap it around with my previous point. Just trust me, I got you. So it's going to take you off of your task altogether. That's a distraction, right? Because it's the war on attention. So it takes you off of your task completely. That's a distraction. An interruption, which I think sometimes, I say sometimes, an interruption can be more deadlier than a distraction, a complete distraction. And I'm gonna tell you why. Because the concept of a interruption is this. It's when you're doing a thing called multitasking, which multitasking is a false. It's a fallacy, right? It's a falsehood. What's really happening is a thing called. I'm about to write it down here. So we got quote unquote, which is wrong, multitasking, and whoever interjected this term in society really screwed over a lot of people. Multitasking. That's why. So when I put these quotation marks or whatever here, this is like being sarcastic, so-called multitasking, right? So multitasking, you got that. But what it really is now, I'm not gonna put any quotation marks on it. What multitasking really is, I'm gonna say equals to rapid task switching. Rapid task switching. So let me put that in like practical sense, like everyday distraction versus interruption. A distraction. Let's say you was driving on the road and you were using a GPS to get home, right? If you're using that GPS to get home, and let's say you're talking on the phone at the same time, do you may think you're multitasking, but you're really not, because how many of us have used our GPS and we were talking on the phone and then we missed like the main exit? You know what happens? We have this false sense of that we're multitasking, but what we're really doing is we're rapid task switching, meaning that the human mind works like this. When we want to like focus on something and something takes our attention, what occurs is that we have to focus on that thing solely, because it's no real thing of multitasking. We don't have two. How can I say it? We don't have two attention sensories. And let me see. I don't know if it's too early for me to mention this term, but we have what you call the parietal lobe, right? It's one of the four main lobes. You got your frontal lobe, parietal lobe, temporal lobe, occipital lobe. And then within your parietal lobe, you have three main functions, right? What time is it? Okay, let me hurry up and wrap this topic up. I don't want to stay on this one too long. So you have three functions within that parietal lobe, and the parietal lobe is located more so. They call it the posterior region of your brain. So what it has three functions. It has your somatosensory, which is the things that you remember off of like touch, you know, with like the feel, right? Then you have the spatial sensor, which you can remember like where things were like in space wise. Like, oh, I remember that this light bulb was in this corner, right? That's that. And then the third thing is the excuse me, I got hiccups. It's called the DAN, abbreviated the DAN, the dorsal attention network. And this is what your mind deems as important to focus on. But what it starts with is first your thalamus takes in this process. Stay with me. Stay with me. I'm not trying to talk too technical. Let's just remember my first topic is that multitasking is a fallacy. You're really rapid task switching. Which let me just cut out all of that. Maybe I'll come back around to that point. But this is something that's dangerous because what happens is you may think that you're making great progress because you're quote unquote multitasking. But what did I say earlier? They done studies to say that we check our phones 150 times a day, and then we can't go 6 to 7 minutes without checking our phones. So this is why 30-minute tasks, we're just not efficient. This is why a 30-minute task can now take 6 hours, man, because we're trying to multitask. You trying to read a book, but you got the TV on, right? You trying to get through, I don't know, let's say you try to get through 20 pages of a book, which it probably would have taken less than an hour to do so. But now you're trying to watch television while you're doing it. You wonder why it took 8 hours for you to get through 20 pages, right? Because you're trying to multitask. You're trying to complete a task. Maybe you're trying to push your business along. Maybe you're trying to organize bookings and things of that nature. And then you're distracted. You're quote unquote multitasking, which isn't efficient whatsoever. So war on attention. I think I'm about to wrap this topic up so y'all can stay with me. If y'all want me to go more in depth on this topic, which I really can, but I need to keep this live moving to keep it engaging. I can't just stay on one specific topic all live, or y'all not gonna watch this at all, like whatsoever. So the war on attention. So what's the next one that I want to speak on? What was it? The emotional. Yeah, you know what? That'd be a great segue. How I can split that talk up. The emotional. What I want to say? The emotional loop that keeps you stuck. Yep, we'll do that. We just call it emotional. Emotional loop that keeps you stuck. That keeps you stuck. Okay. Hey, whoever watching, good morning to you. Good morning to you. Good morning to you. Okay. The emotional that's kind of long, but whatever. Emotional loop that keeps you stuck. Speaking of your emotions, I read this out of a book. It was called, like I said, y'all see all these lists. I read a ton of books. It was called, give me one second. I got it. It was called, not How We Learn. It was called, Descartes. No, not, you don't pronounce the S because that's not how you pronounce it. Descartes Error. And this was by a neuroscience called Antonio Damasio. Y'all can get that book or whatnot. And one of the things he was talking about was that you can't. So it was a philosopher, right? His name was Rene Descartes, and one of his philosophical takes was that the mind and body is one and the same. Pretty much your emotions and your logic is two different things. And the neuroscience in modern times, his name is Antonio Damasio, that made a book, Descartes Error, hence Descartes. He said that no, every decision that you make in life, you have to use your emotions. This is another falsehood that they don't tell you about. Like, we always think that When you make a logical sound decision, that's just pure logic. You're like a robot. You're not using your emotions whatsoever, bro. That's not the case, because first you have to understand the way the brain functions and how it works. How it works is you get information processed through the thalamus first. It goes to the limbic system. Once it goes to the limbic system, one of the many functions in the limbic system, you get your amygdala hit. Once your amygdala gets hit, your amygdala is your emotional it's your emotional alert. And this is why we evolved to have that as our like first line of defense, so to speak. Like if a tiger popped out at you right now, you don't have to think why why you should dodge or whatever. You don't have to think logically why you need to get out the way of a tiger. No, your amygdala, what it does is it cuts blood flow to what they call the dorsolateral prefrontal cortex, and it makes you make a like a haste decision right there in the moment, because that's one of our survival instincts. Anyways, this is how like anything goes. It hits our when we process anything, it hits our amygdala first. And this is important why I'm getting that emotional loop, since we can talk about emotions and I can go more in depth on it right now. Emotional loops that keep you stuck. What keeps us stuck is not being conscious that emotions is really the first thing humans really evolved to really develop. Not so much logic. And I know we always think logic because we like, oh, this is what separates us from animals. No, stay with me. So when we process something, let's say somebody let's say it was a goal that you like, man, I know I need to get done with this today. I know I need to get done with this. You revving up emotions, all that is motivation. So we're gonna start with our amygdala first. Amygdala first. We're gonna start with our amygdala first, and then we're gonna get to our ventromedial prefrontal cortex. I'm just gonna write, because you can abbreviate it VMPFC. So I said ventral medial prefrontal cortex. So I'm just gonna write VMPFC for right now. And so your amygdala, this is like your alerter. This happens in like milliseconds. Think of this as like a notification for your emotional state right there and then, okay? And then you have your ventromedial prefrontal cortex. What this is, it acts, let me slide this arrow down a little more. What this does is, now this is your emotional regulator. This is why people that has PTSD, what happens is their amygdala overrides even this. Your ventromedial prefrontal cortex, which is supposed to regulate your emotions, supposed to regulate that cortisol and things like that. So what then occurs is that let's not even get on PTSD. Maybe I'll touch on that a little bit later. But anyways, this regulates your emotions. And now this is literally the drive of your like motivation. So yes, everybody, this is why I'm wrapping it back up with that previous point when I say that humans, we never make a decision without our emotions. If we did try to do that, we would be indecisive. We would be stuck in constant limbo of we can never come to a solid decision. Why? Because we always have to be motivated, and motivation is always going to come from, first goes to our amygdala, then our emotional regulator, which is our ventromedial prefrontal cortex. And this is going to really this is going to make something, this is going to amplify how important something to us in that moment per se. And this is why like emotionally we can be stuck in like constant limbo, because we can have a goal and we can be motivated to do it. Like, man, I want to complete this today. And then what happens is our attention gets robbed. Why? Because like I said, this is the natural human reaction, is to be motivated first before a sound problem solving decision. So look at it like in steps, right? I'm about to overcomplicate the simple. So let's look at this as step one. Amygdala, ventromedial prefrontal cortex, 2, and then you have your 3, dorsolateral prefrontal cortex. Dorsolateral prefrontal cortex. And the abbreviation you can write for that is DLPFC. DLPFC. Do it out like that. So, and then this is a part of your limbic system, your amygdala, and then your ventromedial prefrontal cortex and dorsolateral prefrontal cortex. It's all a part of, you guessed it, the prefrontal cortex, right? So this is the emotional alert. This is the emotional this is the emotional alert, emotional regulator, and this is the problem-solving decision maker right here. So why do I say that about you're stuck in this emotional loop? What I'm trying to tell you guys is where discipline is found. This is where discipline is found, right here at your dorsolateral prefrontal cortex. So we're gonna go off that. Boom. This is where discipline is found. Discipline. This is where discipline is found. And what I'm trying to tell you guys, I want you to guys be conscious of, what time is it? I want you guys to be conscious of, you guys have to like dang near like sit on your hands sometimes before you have the urge to task switch. Remember our previous topic, I was talking about rapid task switching, the falsehood of multitasking. You have to sometimes sit on your hands sometimes because you have to fight against motivation, right? Remember, every decision that we make is motivation backed behind it. Now, motivation works as like a dial. Some things is like 10x, you're motivated to do something. Sometimes it's only a 1x multiplier. You get what I'm saying? So we have to keep that in mind. So, and this is a concept that I read in a book, once again, right? Like I said, I was gonna use this live to get more scientific. The last one, like I said, I kept it surface level on purpose. But it's this concept that they call temporal decounting. Yeah, temporal decounting. And what happens sometimes is that us as humans, it's natural that we want the instant gratification. See, this is the science behind it, because you always hear terms like this, but you never like gave yourself a chance to like study or learn this. And once again, it's not your fault. School systems has failed us, you know. They never had a neuroscience class to really teach us about our brain function. But let me touch on this. It's called temporal decounting. And what occurs with this is that we rather have instant gratification, gratification, knowing that the delayed gratification is greater than the instant gratification. Like we knowingly know that. And it's the craziest thing ever. Let me make an analogy so I can make it make sense. Let's say, let me make an analogy. Let's say every day for 5 days, you get paid $50 a day. So you figure in your mind, okay, instant gratification, I get paid $50 a day. So in 5 days, I make $250, right? Follow me. So then on the flip side, somebody may present a proposition to you and say, hey, how about this? There's going to be some delayed gratification, sir, but in 5 days, we're willing to pay you $400 after the 5 days. 5 days of working. You know you're not going to get paid every day. No instant gratification, but delayed gratification. Guess what the human mind actually gravitates to? We gravitate towards the instant gratification. Like that's human nature to do that. So see what I mean now? These are actionable steps that you can take in your day-to-day life right after this call to know and be conscious like, dang, I know this is the thing that's going to really push me further doing this certain input, but why am I trying to do the instant gratification thing? Why? Because once again, this is how I oversimplify the simple, but step one, you get your emotional alert. Number two, you get your emotional regulation, which is your motivation. And motivation at this point right here is all about like it's like a dial. Like, what do you really seem is like urgent and pressing and important. And then this last thing, the logic, that's the delay. Like I said with my tiger example, let a tiger pop out on you right now. You're not gonna wait all the way to step number 3 to let decision making and logic kick in. It's never gonna happen. Like, if how can I say it? If decision making and problem solving was the first step to our brains, we probably wouldn't be on Earth. Because, like I said, let a tiger pop out on you. You don't have to think and have a delay for 5 to 10 seconds to come up with a decision while you need to get out of a tiger's way. No, your emotional state is going to override all of this, because when your emotional state overrides anything, it closes off blood flow to the dorsolateral prefrontal cortex. So I just want to bring that to you guys' attention. Emotional loop that keeps you stuck. And that's the thing that's keeping you guys stuck, is that you don't sit on an idea long enough to act on it. Man, and I read this in another book. Oh my goodness. I read so many books. It's ridiculous. Read this in another book. And it's two, what was my third topic? Hold on. I could slip this here. So let me tell you about this. It's man, I want to stay on this topic no more than another 8 minutes. Let me see if I can wrap it up in that time. I probably can. Let me see. Hey man, please like this stream if you guys appreciate this. Like I said, I've done like the hard how can I say it? I've done a heavy pulling by reading like multiple books to like oversimplify the complex for you guys. If you guys can show any type of appreciation, I would really love for you guys to subscribe, like my video, and then right after this live stream I'm ending this live stream in like the next 30 minutes or so. We'll be over in my free community over at School of Philosophy Paradise, where we can chop it up one-on-one, or we can chop it up as a group, right? I don't bite or anything like that. I can see you guys over there. I'll be over there in 30 minutes. Anyways, it's these two concepts. It's called goal setting, which you guys are very familiar with goal setting. Maybe I shouldn't have erased this, but it's okay. That's a challenge for me. I just have to explain it good in real time to make it cohesive, but let's do it. So, goal setting. Yeah, let's change the color up. So we got goal. So we got goal setting. Right? You got goal setting. And then you have goal, what they call goal enactment. Now I know you guys are like, what do you mean by this? So goal setting is what it sounds like. You know, humans, what we do, we set goals, right? We like it. This is our let's just go back to what I just erased. Goal setting is essentially our motivation. Ooh man, I'm cooking. See y'all, I'm cooking in real time for y'all. As I said, come on, y'all gotta show the appreciation. Subscribe to me. Go follow me on my school, Philosopher Paradise over there. And then also like this video. Just show some appreciation, please. Because, you know, sometimes what we cry about is like, oh, we don't got nobody to like, you know, try to like teach us anything or things like that. But then when you guys got somebody that actually took time to read like over 100 books on this and that, taking time out of their day to show you guys something, you guys have to, you know, just honor that and appreciate that and be grateful. Because I can just be selfish with this information and just be like, oh, I'll let y'all figure it out whenever y'all wake up. I want to make y'all conscious of this now. So goal setting. Goal setting is your motivation. Pretty much. Motivation. Um, Goal enactment is actually your discipline. Okay, I gotta wrap this up. Yeah, I can wrap this concept up in 4 minutes. I don't know if something bit me or what. Anyways, goal setting. So this is you setting goals. Goal enactment is the actionable steps you actually take to completing said goal, right? And what happens is this: when when you're motivated to do something, that's goal setting. You wake up in the morning and say, "Hey, I need to accomplish this," or even before you went to sleep the previous day, before you went to sleep, you was like, "Hey, in the morning, I need to complete this." Okay, that's your goal setting. That's your motivation. But then you have goal enactment, and that's the actual steps. That's the discipline that it's going to take to complete said goal and see it through. And what does this take? It's going to take that combination of your dorsolateral prefrontal cortex, what we talked about is like the third step: amygdala, ventromedial prefrontal cortex, and then you got your dorsolateral prefrontal cortex. That's that third step. But a thing that has to be in addition onto that is your DAN, what I talked about very early on in this live. The DAN is located in your parietal lobe, and like I said, one of the three main functions of that, one of them specifically, is your dorsal attention network. Excuse me. And that's the where and what your attention is on. And like I said, what do we humans do? That's why let me hurry and wrap this up. That's why I always tell you guys that stay away from your phone. Any task that you're trying to do, put your phone wherever you live. If your office space is here and the room that's on the opposite side of your crib is the laundry room, put your phone in the laundry room, put it in the cabinet, throw it in the well, maybe not throw it in the dryer. Somebody might turn it on, but man, put it up. Stay away from your phone, because your emotional loop that keeps you stuck, it's gonna have you multitasking, or it's gonna have you distracted all together, and you're off of that task altogether. Why? Because motivation. Goal setting at the end of the day is just motivation. The actual actionable step takes discipline. And to get to this part with discipline, you have to have your dorsolateral prefrontal cortex, and then you also need your DAN, your dorsal attention network. What you're actually attentive of, which is the goal at hand. Without this, you're going to be in constant limbo with your emotional loop, and then you're going to wonder why, and then you're going to feel like it's something wrong about you. You're going to feel insecure and be like, why can't I focus for anything? I'm giving you some hacks right now, and we can go even more in depth, like I said, at Philosopher Paradise and my free school community. Go follow me over there. So let's move it along. Because like I said, I would love to, but I can't make this a 3 hour or 5 hour live. I gotta build up you guys' stamina to want to learn, but before that, we have to just get some of these fundamentals out the way first. And then if some things that you guys don't understand, y'all want to even more in depth, explanation, then of course that's what Philosopher Paradise is for us to really be conscious of the why of these things. Got that going on. All right, what was the third thing I wanted to talk about? The identity, you guys. Okay, what was the third thing I want to talk about? I think I've said, what did I write down? The identity, even or not. Okay, yeah, that's what I want to speak on. Okay, how I wanna title this: identity, the identity you're accidentally building. Okay, I think that's what I want to call it. Okay. The identity. I want to say your. Yeah, I'm gonna say your. You are accidentally building. I think this is a great way for me to put together all of the talking points that I made so far. With this, like I said, man, like this stream, man. I'm doing this in real time. Like, probably you guys' favorite YouTuber, they probably reading off a teleprompter, a script or whatever, so they can sound like brainiacs because I mean they reading off a script. I'm doing this in real time. Y'all can hear me in real time stutter. Y'all can hear me in real time come up with these thoughts. Y'all seeing me in real time pull from things that I've actually read. So like I said, man, like this video, subscribe, go over there to Philosophy Paradise, and I'm gonna see y'all over there in about 20 minutes. Anyways, let's get right into it. The identity you're accidentally building. The identity you're accidentally building. So on accident, because when you're not conscious of these things, you don't understand the habits that the habits that you're inflicting on yourself, if that's good or bad. So like I said, your phone is the worst habit. You know why? Because just like brushing your teeth, and let me go over this other thing. It's called your basal ganglia. Spell it out for you. So you got your basal ganglia, and your basal ganglia, it has neural. You got dopamine that coincides with your basal ganglia. Let me not on this live go too deep into that. Let's just keep it like this. Basal ganglia. What this is this is where actually habits are developed. This is the subconscious things of like how you do it, and and what you do. And let me give you an actual scientific study about how this works. If something ever happens to your hippocampus, let's say your hippocampus is damaged, and your hippocampus it's like your episodic memory. It's the thing that bonds all the sensory cortices together. So what does that mean? Like I said, in your cortex, you have four main lobes: frontal lobe, temporal lobe, occipital lobe, parietal lobe. And so with your temporal lobe, what that does is it helps you remember what you hear. And what you hear, that's what they call your auditory cortex. Auditory cortex. And then you also have another function in there, what they call the semantic, what is it called? The semantic cortex, or the semantic sensor. And this is the what, like you're giving something meaning. But we'll get to that at a later time, later topic. You have that. You have your front. You have your parietal. Goodness gracious, your parietal lobe. And I already told you had three functions within that. And then you also have your occipital lobe, which is your visual cortex, which you remember what you've seen, what you visualize. And the parietal lobe is you remember how something felt, and you remember where something was located wise, right? So just follow me. Okay, I'm about to have a brain fart, man. Like I told y'all, man, I'll be putting this together in real time. What was my point? Oh yeah, habits. This is how habits are developed. So anyways, like I said, if your hippocampus is damaged, your hippocampus is your episodic like memory. It's what binds all of these sensories to help you when you go to sleep. You internalize that memory because it stores it in the cortex. Think of your hippocampus as a librarian, right? So what a librarian is there for is supposed to be the quarterback, as you can say, with books, like book sections in the store. And that's what your hippocampus is for all of those sensories that I just covered, like what you can feel, what you can hear, what you remember hearing, feeling, seeing, touching, things like that. If that's ever damaged, what happens is people, they can no longer form new memories, because when that's when that's damaged, their working memory, which is in their prefrontal cortex, what happens is their working memory is not efficient anymore. They can't hold on, and your working memory is only things that holds on to the memory for seconds to minutes. And that's the difference with your hippocampus. Your hippocampus is the things that hold on to things for days, weeks, months, because like I said, with sleep, it stores it in your cortex, right? So, hey, what's going on? I see some people hop in there. Good morning to you. Anyways, that's why when that's damaged, you can't develop new memories, and that's why I was saying like a librarian. Now you still have those books in that library, so when it's damaged, you can technically remember old memories that happened previous to you damaging your hippocampus, but you're missing your librarian, aka you're missing librarian, aka you're missing your hippocampus. So now you can't store new books into that library. You can't store. I can't. Well, I don't want to say store, but you can't bind new memories in that library. So the only thing that you can rely on, because there's been cases, is your basal ganglia, your identity, you're accidentally building. Basal ganglia is a subconscious thing. This is why when people do damage this hippocampus, they can still, how can I say, they can still operate, and they can have constructive and productive habits. So if they still get up in the morning, they don't have to remember what they did 20 minutes ago for nothing. But if it's a habit that they made to brush their teeth, right, then they're not going to stop brushing their teeth in the morning. If it's a habit that every day at 7 o'clock in the morning that they work out, that's going to be a habit that's ingrained in their basal ganglia. So just think of it like this: your prefrontal cortex and your hippocampus, that's what you're consciously doing, right? And then your basal ganglia is what you're subconsciously doing, which this is still something that we need to go over, because a habit like picking up your phone as soon as you wake up. And I know y'all like, man, I thought Jeff said when you're doing a task, stay away from your phone. Hef said stay away from your phone or whatever. Yeah, I'm saying that, but I also gotta keep track of time or whatever, because I don't need to like rock you guys to sleep, right? And I gotta move on to my next task, which is getting in my free school community, giving more value. Anyways, basal ganglia. So these are things that we need to put in place. What I'm trying to say is this: in the morning, this is going to be the hours in the day where you can really separate yourself from the pack. That's all I'm trying to say, bro. All I'm trying to say. This is when you can really make a difference. You can make that gap between you and the average person. The average person, because of their basal ganglia, their first reaction, the first innate thing to do is to check their phone. And there's no problem with checking your phone, because I even check my phone first thing in the morning. What do I check it for? Do I check it for notifications per se? No. I just check it so I can turn off the alarm. That's it. And then I probably sling my phone somewhere, because I understand that we need to rewire that habit, that subconscious habit, to check your phones and check notifications, because I know y'all can relate to this. It was something that you guys probably had to do. Let's say you wake up at 6 o'clock in the morning. I think that's a fair thing. So let's say you woke up at 6 o'clock in the morning, and it's something that you need to do at 8:30 in the morning. Next thing you know, you roll over, you grab your phone, and you go into a what they call it, doom scrolling, for almost 2 hours, and you be like, oh shoot, it's 8 o'clock in the morning. Yeah, it's a subconscious habit that you just made with your basal ganglia to be on your phone like that. And remember, the brain works on emotions first. So when it works on emotion first, it's going to give in to what? Instant gratification, what we already went over earlier into this live. It's going to give in to instant gratification. It's not going to give in initially into the thing, the input that's actually better for you, which is the delayed gratification. So these are things that you guys can now be conscious of, and like I said, that's the main thing, because we wanna subconsciously be competent. And I can go over that in another video, but um, what we wanna do is develop good habits at all costs. Well, I got a book over there called. Don't I got a book something called Habits or something? My bad, y'all. What book do I got? It's called. I got too many books, but I know I got it on this side of my shelf. I gotta have it on this side of my shelf. What is that book called? What was that concept they had? Study right there. Good Habits. Yeah, Good Habits and Bad Habits by Wendy Wood. How many minutes I got in this left? Nah, I'm not gonna touch on it. But anyways, this is the whole gist of what I'm trying to get at. The identity you're accidentally building. The things that happen on accident is the subconscious things all the time. And one of those subconscious things is your basal ganglia. And now that you're conscious about it, then you can be more careful about being susceptible to the subconscious bad habits. That's all I'm trying to say. What's another thing? Man, I like this. Let me know in the comment section, do y'all like this as well, man? Like I said, this is probably different than like most of the YouTubers that you guys watch, where, like I said, you never know what they doing, man. They probably got a teleprompter. They probably got a big old teleprompter this big that they reading off of, and they giving y'all this old perfect, pre-recorded video, which I don't got no hate towards that. All I'm saying is like show appreciation, man. Comment down there that do you like these types of videos where y'all can see how my mind's processing in real time and real time engagement. Because remember, I'm going YouTube live every Sunday at 8 o'clock in the morning. So if you guys wanted to pick my brains, not my brains, but pick my brain live while I'm on here, and that's what I'm here for. I'm here to help. I'm just letting y'all know that. So if y'all appreciate that, just let me know that in the comment section. Like the video, subscribe, do all of that. You know what I mean? And just let me know. Just let me know. And I know it's going to be some things that you guys are going to have questions about, and that's perfectly fine. So if you guys missed the live, or it's taking you guys time to like articulate that question that you guys have had, even though you're in my YouTube live stream, then we can just talk it out on my free school community over at Philosopher Paradise. Like I said, I would really, if you the only person that show up in there, then we about to be talking one-on-one for an hour. If it's a group of 3 or 5 of us, then 3 or 5 of us about to be chopping it up for an hour. So y'all can get more clarification, things like that. So this is my last topic for today. I see it's like some people in and out of the live chat. If you guys had any questions, maybe I need to start doing that. When I start getting more consistent engagement, maybe I'll leave I might start doing that too. Maybe the last 10 or 5 minutes of the live open to maybe I can answer 2 or 3 questions real quick. Let's see. So if you guys had any last minute questions while I'm on a YouTube live, let me know. So we'll be wrapping up in 5 minutes. Any last minute questions, let me know. Any last minute questions you guys have, let me know. If something wasn't all the way clear, that's perfectly fine. And I want some of this stuff not to be clear, because what did I tell you earlier in this live? The way us humans process information is first, something grabs our attention, and then 2, we try to predict, and we try to predict anything. We try to predict what the speaker is about to say next. We try to predict how heavy this door is before we open it. We try to predict, And then when we get that prediction wrong, then we have the error. And then once we have the error, our minds wants to correct that error. And then once we correct that error, then we lock it in. Where our memory, our hippocampus try to lock that in and store that and dish that off to the cortex so it can store the memory long term. So I'm just saying all of that to say, what am I trying to say? Oh my goodness, I'm lost in my own sauce. Oh yeah, that's what I'm saying. Yeah, if something don't make sense to y'all, comment it down below. We'll get into it. All the stuff that I just went over, it's no way. It should not. I mean, if it does, then great, but it should not. So don't be insecure about that at all. It should not make sense. All the stuff I just covered today, it should not be that cohesive for you guys to understand the first time around. So nobody better feel like shy or insecure to ask like questions or scared or embarrassed. Don't. Like, I'm the one that nerded out and read all of these books about the brain and philosophy, about other things. Any last minute questions for me? If y'all was around like my channel, like in the earlier stages, what I did with this channel, I kind of switched the primary and secondary around. Always had like my videos about discipline and focus and procrastination and things like that on my channel, but that I was using that as the secondary. Now I made that the primary of my channel. So the secondary things that's of subject matters that I study, I don't even really touch on those anymore with this channel. Maybe the only time y'all gonna see me touch on that is like I said, in my free school community, when we really like chopping up person to person. That's when y'all can get like my whole like intellectual scope. But right now I'm just leading with, I would say, like a quarter or half of like my intellectual like subject matters. How many minutes we got? Yeah, but y'all know what it is. It's Half the Philosopher, man. The subject matters, I can go down them. My subjects is cognitive neuroscience, philosophy, Near East study, ancient history, Egyptology, comparative religion, philology in a way as well. So those are all like my main subject matters, just to let you guys know. But of course, I'm not about to cover all of those with my YouTube content. I'm just trying to stay with two of them, so YouTube can actually push my content through. Because prior to that, they wasn't really pushing my content through because I was giving y'all too much diversity with my intellectual scope, and that's not productive in trying to like reach and give as much value to as many people and help as many people as I can doing that. Later on with my YouTube career and ventures, then we can expand and expound on that. But as of right now, two things I'm pushing with this channel right now is just the things I know about neuroscience and philosophy, because I think those things mesh well with one another. So we got one more minute, y'all. Any last question before I go over to my free school community? Y'all can see that in the live chat right now. I'm about to swing over to my free school community. Well, hey, it's 9 o'clock. I'm about to see y'all my free school community, man. Don't be stuck and dumb forever. Let's learn and grow together. It's Hef.